Hello internet citizens and welcome to HTML CSS crash course. First of all, congratulations for completing 90% of my course, but you need to know something more about web development. That is, you need to know that how you can just create a responsive website for tablets and mobile phones. And believe me, that is real easy. And it will look more easy to you because now you are like a running horse into HTML and CSS. So let's get started and do a quick study on creating a responsive template. So first of all, let's create a responsive menu, and you can see that it is a simple menu over here. This is the desktop version. First thing that you need to do, that for your quick guide, you need to click on view if you are using Chrome, and on tools if you are using Mozilla Firefox. Then you need to go on this developers tool, and you need to see that this is what it is. Now it is giving you a proper scale for the tablet view, the mobile view, and the desktop view. Now you need to notice that it is giving you the dimensions over here, and you can just rescale and have a look at how it is looking into the mobile, tablets, and desktop. So let's just start creating this responsive menu. So for that, I'm just gonna use the snippet file. This is gonna be my snippet file, and don't worry, the exercise file is all attached to it. So let's just have a look at it. The initial part, that first of all that you're gonna do is that you're simply gonna define a division ID, that is brand, which is this Flipbell that is written over here. And next up in body, you're going to define the navigation, UL and li tags that you're all aware about, that how you can just create a menu with these tags. And then you're simply gonna use the anchor tags with href, with home, portfolio, inspiration, blog, about, and contact, or many more. So to create a responsive menu, all of it is a magic of CSS. So let's just have a look at it one by one, that how you can just manage these IDs and all this stuff out here. So first of all, let me just copy and paste this line with brand ID so that we can style it. So what we have done here is that we have defined here sterics with margin 0 and padding 0. This is because we don't want it to just change it from a bit downward or upward according to the dimension of our browser or anything out there with the resolution. So firstly, we will define our margin and padding to 0 so that it can fix it up like here. Then we will define our brand ID simply by font family sans serif, font size 30 pixels randomly, line height to 50 pixels, floated to left, and we had then given its color to gray. Then it must be looking something like this. So let's bring up our next thing, that is navigation and navigation UL tags. So let's just copy and paste it over here. Now I'm just saving a time of yours and mine as well, because it is just a crash course, so that you can see that navigation NAV and navigation NAV, this is this thing. We have defined this tag with the width to 100% and text align to center. And then we have simply defined the navigation UL tag, that is the parent of li tag. So I've floated it to the right hand side so that this home, portfolio, inspiration, and can float it to right hand side and can show up here. And then I've simply given the line height to 50 pixels, and then it must be something looking like this. Now it's a bit messed up. We don't want these bullets, underlines, and we want it in a row, not like that. So we'll take some more tags like navigation li and navigation anchor tag. So let's just paste them over here. Now we'll define the navigation li tag to display it in line so that it can show up here over here. And then we will also define its list type to none. And then in anchor tag, we'll set the text decoration to none so that these bullets and underlines cannot show up. And then I've simply given the padding to 10 pixels according to the font size and all this stuff. And then I've defined the color of these home, portfolio, inspiration, all the tabs, and with the font family, that is sans serif. And if we save it, then you can see that according to its color, that is gray family, font family, text decoration, and it's all up here right now. Then let's bring up more things, and then we'll quickly have a look at the concept that how you can just define the things into the iPad or mobile phones. Now this is a nice feature that you should define to increase its beauty, that if I hover my mouse on it, then it will convert it into the red color, that is C00. So if I'm just hovering my mouse on it, then you can see that its color is not changing. Now next up with this line. Now believe me, this line is so complicated that you need to write it as it is into your CSS document. To avoid errors, don't just play even with its space or any case sensitive thing out here. No spacing, jumble words or nothing. You need to write here as it is to make it working. Now what it is exactly doing, that here I've defined by importing a media that the maximum width of my screen, this screen of the browser, is gonna be the 768 pixels, and if my resolution of screen is 768 pixels, then I'm gonna define some of the things that you will show when my screen is of 768 pixels. So then, like a simple CSS, now then I've defined some of the more things when it's gonna show up with my iPad. So let's just simply copy and paste it. Do remember that you don't get any error out here. This is a very sensitive line. So first of all, we have defined our brand to the margin on top with -50 pixels. Now I'll quickly tell you the concept of this -50 pixels just in a minute. Let's just look at the other tags. Now this navigation is empty. What I have done here, that I could have defined all these things once again over here, but I have not done that. Now this is not a good habit, and sometimes you'll get an error if both of these functions will inherit with each other. That is no duplicate code. So there is empty navigation. Then I've defined the navigation underline tag more to float it to none. Now this is not gonna float at this time, but you need to see that here it is floating to right, but I don't want it to float anywhere this time when it is into this resolution. Then I've given the margin to 50 pixels. Background, this is gonna be a new background, because to show you difference, I've kept it white into the background of menu, and when I'll resize it, then you will feel the difference that when it's jumping on its resolution, that is on 768 pixels, it's changing its color to red. Yes, color of menu is going to change into the red color. And then finally I've given nav display to inline, and color of text into the anchor tags, that is gonna be white, because it is gonna look better into the red color, these home portfolio and all this stuff. And then finally our hover feature. Now this time I have given it a bit gray color types. So if we save it and if we resize it, oh, I've taken the wrong thing out here. Now if we resize it, that you can see that it is now changing its color. It's now jumping onto the next line because I have set the float to none. And if I hold my mouse on it, that you can see that home portfolio inspiration is now changing its color. So that's all how you can set it for iPad. Now we are going to jump onto the next, that is quickly with the mobile view. Now the concept is gonna remain same over here, but just we are gonna play with resolution. Now it's gonna be same thing out here, that is media, screen and max width, but this time we have just defined the max width to 480 pixels, and here we have defined the max width to 768 pixels. Now you need to remember that 768 pixel supports for iPad, but iPhone 3 or iPhone 4 supports to 480 pixels. And then I've defined my brand ID to more, but this time I've defined my brand ID to text it to the align, so that in mobile phone this Flipbell, that is brand ID, is gonna show up here in the middle section. And then I float to none, margin top to 50, and this is just the same as it is. Now here's the interesting thing, that is navigation A tag. Now, what I have done here is I have displayed a block for individual A tag, defining with its color to color of, this is gonna be the color of text, that is gonna be gray or white, somewhat like that, with a border bottom to 1 pixel. Now I've given the solid is gonna be the margin of this border, and with a color that is gonna be gray, and the margin I've set to 0 so that it cannot look more clumsy. And then I've decided the padding, like if you remember that we have decided to play with padding into the first time when we have made this menu in our previous some of the tutorials on how to create a menu. And then I've defined this simple feature of navigation A hover that is gonna change its color when I'll just hover on it. Now it's gonna display the individual block for every navigation A tag, just like for this tag, and every tag that is written over here. So to display the block, let me just save it and let's just get the preview of it once again. So if it is gonna fix it into the mobile view, it's gonna make different blocks that I've mentioned over here for A tags, that is home, portfolio, inspiration, blog, about, and contact. Now that's how you can just simply and easily create a responsive website. Now what I need to tell you that sometimes you see 3 horizontal lines over here, and if you click on them just like this, if you click on them, then you will see some tabs of your website. But I believe that that is not at all a good feature to make a responsive website, because suppose if I am not with a technical domain, it will decrease the visibility of my tabs that are available into my website. So that is not at all a good part to get these 3 lines for a mobile responsive menu. So this is the best feature that you can ever use for the mobile phones to show up the menu. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to test it and use our exercise file as well.